Well, we will see who gets his life together over in London. Could
Yes.
be Calvin Ridley, could be Kyle Pitts. All we know is that, of course, tomorrow is when we're going to get the full on schedule for the entire league. And of course, that means the Falcons are included. But the league kind of gave us some tidbits today about the international schedule: 5 games over the sea across the pond, a couple in Germany, 3 in London. And one of those games is Falcons versus Jaguars. That's week 4, October 1st. All the games are going to be 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. So get your tea and crumpets ready, or do your virtual church, or whatever it is that you have to do, because they're
Yes.
going to be early bird specials throughout the entire season. Now, speaking of that Falcons game, it'll be interesting because the assumption here is this: it's an early season game, week 4, so you're probably going to see a bye week 5. I always wish that the byes are a little bit later in the season, but ultimately speaking, it is what it is. It's going to be week 4, right? But
Right.
what makes this matchup to me maybe the most intriguing is who's on the other side of the football, and on the other side of the football field this go round. And that would, of course, be Calvin Ridley. So this is going to be the first opportunity that Rid has to play against his former team. And I am sure that he is going to kind of be on low key mission. So you could call it kind of the revenge game for Cal Ridley. But here's what I think as well: you want the Falcons to win, but you also want Calvin Ridley to be on mission for it to be a revenge game, because that's the advantage for the Falcons. Because as long as this guy's hitting incentives that make the Jaguars want to actually re-sign him, Jarvis, then 2 things. Number one, the Falcons might creep up on that third round 2024 pick. Or if the Jaguars see what they love in Rid, then hey, they might actually re-sign him. Falcons might potentially creep up to the second round in 2024. So, a revenge game from Rid might not be a bad thing.
Yeah, I'm with you on that because here's the thing: like we've talked about it a lot on this show about how much we like Calvin really, and
Yes.
covering that dude was always a joy. Always willing to speak to the media, always willing to share his time, and and talk, express his thoughts about what's going on with the team and what's going on with him as well. So I think that ultimately, though, this you gotta think that this is going to be that type of game for him because here's why I say that. Because take it back to before he stepped away from the team, like that week that I spoke with him or got a chance to talk to him, before leading up to the London game before the Atlanta Falcons, and he was just like, he just didn't look like himself. And then not too long after that, we found out that he wasn't going to be traveling with the team to go over to London. So I think that this is going to be a moment for him. I feel like, just saying like, okay, like this is a familiar place. This is something that, I was in a bad space when I was getting ready to head to here. So this is, I believe that Cal is going to be super uber locked in when it comes time to play this game because, it makes sense, right? There was the team that drafted him, and a lot of people were kind of shocked when the Falcons took Calvin Ridley in the first round that year. So all of those things kind of come into play where I feel like it's going to be one of those games. Yeah, I feel like he's going to be part of the game plan. He's going to be Doug Peters is going to have him super involved, and I would not be surprised if Trevor Lawrence is going to be talking to him a little bit more so to make sure that they get them once going. And then, like as long as he doesn't do too well, and like I said, and it can lead to what you were talking about as far as getting that second round pick. Because at the end of the day, like if Cal stays healthy, I'm saying it right now. I've been saying it, and I was like, if the dude stays healthy, the Jaguars are going to sign him because that dude is on a mission. I've been checking out I saw one of his workout videos too. Dude will put on some pounds too, T.
Yes. Yes.
That man is ready to rock.
Yeah, and we always root for Rid no matter what, because we want to see him succeed, because he was indeed someone who was easy to talk to when we
Right.
were in Flowery Branch. And I can even recall one of the last times we had an opportunity to speak with him last season. He wasn't really up for it, right? Because he
Right.
still had that shy side. Even when he was named captain, he was like, he couldn't believe it, right? And but
Right.
he took it very seriously. And I can recall asking PR like, hey, are we going to be able to talk to Red today? Because he kind of seemed like it. And after just a few seconds of kind of waiting or whatever, then we, like you said, had an opportunity to speak with him. So yeah, we're always rooting for him, but also rooting for the Falcons, saying, hey, it's really okay, because it's always good business for us in local media if the Falcons win. 30-27 works. as long
Yeah.
as the 30 is what the Falcons hit. Now, another guy that we're hoping will have not necessarily a breakout game, because that would mean that maybe games 1, 2, and 3 weren't all that. But Kyle Pitts did get his first touchdown in London, his first NFL touchdown. So
Right.
while we don't necessarily want to see him have see a breakout game all the way in week 4, we would like to kind of see that magic repeat itself when he gets over to London, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I feel like I'm really interested to see how the dynamic between Kyle Pitts and Desmond Ridder works out, because we understood what it was for Drake London and Desmond, because those guys clicked immediately. And I saw something that I thought was really funny. I think he was on the AtlantaFalcons.com podcast, and they asked him what made them click so much, and Desmond Ridder immediately came out and said, because we're light skinned, in that high pitch Kermit the Frog type voice he got going on, So, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, light skinned brothers do stick together. Yeah, that's how it works, most of the time. So, I think that the only thing is they just fight for mirrors. You know what I mean? Like, that's how that's how they roll. But yeah, I had to take a little shot. T. Come on now, why you looking at me like that? but I do like the fact that Desmond is like going into the season as QB1, and I really feel like he's going to be establishing a relationship or a rapport with Kyle Pitts, because like going back to last year, like Kyle Pitts will never admit this, but I know he was super frustrated with Marcus Mariota being the quarterback for this team. And when you think about like all of the overthrows, all of the just putting them in bad situations and not giving them an opportunity to catch the ball, I'm like, how you overthrow a 6'6" dude with a doggone 155-inch wingspan? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you do that? So I expect Kyle to get it rolling before then, but more definitely, being that he got his first touchdown in London, I really expect him to kind of continue to do the same over there as well.
Yeah, and we know Desmond Ridder will show up in a fourth game like you want him to, because the last game, which was his fourth game last season, he really did show up and show out. And I don't
Want
doubt
to
that he
know
would have
against
a
Tom
shot.
Brady, T. Want
Yeah,
to know against Tom Brady.
yeah, exactly. Like we're talking about something that most Falcons quarterbacks couldn't do. So yeah, I'm excited to see what that game is going to hold. And listen, everydayers, what do you guys think about the Falcons being chosen as one of the 10 teams or 9 teams, because the Jags are going to actually play twice there? So what do you think about the Falcons being chosen as one of those teams to represent in the UK in week 4? Are you excited about that game? What are your thoughts on them actually going up against Calvin Ridley? How's that going to look? So let us know. Why? Because you're our everydayers, and what you say and what you think actually matters to us. So you can drop a note in the comment section if you're checking us out on YouTube, or of course, you see our Twitter handles there. So you're always welcome to drop something in our DMs, and definitely listen to us wherever you download your podcast. Replay it over and over and over again. Talk about it amongst your friends and family, and tell them about the great things we're doing over at ATL Day Ones, because guess what? Without you guys, we would not be able to keep this going. So thanks a lot. And again, we're looking out for your comments. We want to hear what you think about what's going to go on in week 4 in London.